Hey, what's going on, everybody? All right, so I haven't really made a video in a long time. I know after I posted those videos of my Ecoboost, there are a lot of requests for more videos of it and stuff like that. And I wanted to get more videos of it, but I didn't. I had that truck for about 2 years, and then just kind of decided that I was ready to build something else and got rid of it. Um, that truck was very fun. Built that thing from the ground up. Bought it bone stock, brand new in 2019, and took it all the way to doing everything you can do to a 2.7, including custom built set of turbos. Um, I now have another truck that I have built that I'll get into a little bit later. But I've gotten a lot of questions about the 2.7 Ecoboost and stuff like that. And I'm not an Ecoboost expert by any means. I only know what I learned through the course of building mine. And I've had a 2.7 and I had a 3.5. A 3.5 I didn't go nowhere near as far as I did on my 2.7. It was basically full bolt-on, tune only. It was stock turbos, stuff like that. But my 2.7, full-fledged build. Everything aside from going into the engine. As far as 2.7s go, I'm real familiar with the Gen 2s. I don't know much about the Gen 1s. I wish I did. I don't. There's not really that much of a difference, but there is. As far as fuel system goes, and the kind of, I think once you get into the internals on the engine, it's gets a little bit different. But as far as the 2.7 goes, if you want to run E85 on a 2.7 Ecoboost, yes, you can do it without making any fuel modifications. No, you cannot just go up to an E85 station, put E85 in it, and then go down the road. You have to be tuned for it. But you do not have to run injectors, fuel pump, high pressure fuel pump, anything like that. If anybody tells you any different, they don't know what they're talking about. Now, if you start getting up there to where you're full bolt-on E85, yes, you will gain from doing a lift pump in the fuel tank, as far as whether you're doing the Deech Works, in tank pump or whatever pump you want to go with. Yes, you will. They will be able to give you a little bit more fuel with a bigger lift pump, but no, you do not have to have one. If you go up to aftermarket turbos on a 2.7, yes, you have to do a in-tank fuel pump, and yes, you have to do injectors. You can do high pressure fuel pump, but there's no reason to. Anybody that tells you have to, they're wrong. I did it. I had one of the highest horsepower 2.7s there ever was, and probably the fastest. I had did a few draggy runs or whatever, but never actually went to a track to get it verified. So I can't claim the fastest 2.7 Ecoboost in the world, but what I can tell you is the 2.7 that was holding the record, I ran a faster time than. But again, that's just my word. I have no documentation or evidence of that. All I can tell you is the truck that held the record, I had more power, bigger turbos, lighter weight, full suspension. My truck was not really necessarily built for a daily driver. I was building it to go for the record. But anyway, back to turbos. If you want to do aftermarket turbos on a 2.7, the Gen 2 2.7, just buy a set of 3.5 factory 3.5 port injectors, pull your intake manifold, throw them in there, get you a tune for it, throw you a lift pump in the fuel tank, and you're good. That got me all the way up over, that was well over 600 horsepower or I say well over, a little over 600 horsepower with that. And I mean, no, 600 horsepower is really not good on a 2.7. That's really pushing the limits of that 2.7. Don't get me wrong, the 2.7 is a very well built engine. If you look at the build of the engine, it's actually a very well designed engine. I mean, it's got, if you look at the connecting rods and the setup on those, they actually mimic diesel connecting rods, which are built for torque. If you look at the engine block design, the engine is, the block is a 2-piece block, which is, I mean, pretty stout for a factory block. I mean, it's a 2-piece design. I mean, it's a very well built engine. The cylinder heads are a little restrictive. You know, you can't do like the 3.5 and put aftermarket exhaust manifolds on it because they're internal in the cylinder head. But to everybody, or I say everybody, anybody, the few people that were, you know, commenting about the 2.7 being slow and stuff like that, if you're comparing a fully built 3.5 EcoBoost to a fully built 2.7 EcoBoost, yes, the 3.5 is going to be faster. It's a bigger cubic inch engine. You can run bigger turbos on it. Makes more power. Just all there is to it. There's not a 2.7 EcoBoost in the world that is faster than a comparable 3.5 EcoBoost. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's a larger cubic inch engine. You can run more fuel, more air, more everything. So I mean, yeah. But the truck that I had and that I built, yes, it was a fast truck. Was it a low 10-second truck? No, it wasn't. Was it a mid 10-second truck? No, it wasn't. It wasn't going to compete with the fastest EcoBoost out there. But for it being a V6, yes, it was quick. I mean, no, I didn't run a 5.0 that I got beat by, but of course I wasn't out there running twin turbo 5.0s. I mean, I know better than that. Of course, that's a guaranteed loss for me. I mean, a twin turbo V8, of course, is going to push more than 600 wheel horsepower. I mean, and it'll do that on low boost. So, I mean, you know, as far as the 2.7 EcoBoost goes, it's a very well built engine. It's a great engine. I loved it. I had no regrets about doing it. I had no problems after I did it. And I beat on that truck daily. I beat on that truck. I wanted to test the limits of it. I mean, you know, like I said, I was going for the record. I wanted to figure out the weak points of the truck. And the only weak point I really found was the rear end. Other than that, and I mean, I you know, ended up putting a posi unit in the rear end and took care of that. So, I mean, other than that, there were no weak points on that truck. But that truck was tapped out. That was as fast as a 2.7 can get, unless you start doing, you know, you pull your cylinder heads off and you do, you know, bring it to somebody, a machine shop, and have them do a little port and polishing. Other than that, that's really about as fast as the EcoBoost is going to get. Your throttle bodies and stuff. Putting an aftermarket throttle body on a stock intake manifold is doing nothing. You're wasting money. Spend that money elsewhere. Intercoolers should be your first upgrade. The factory Ford intercooler is garbage on these EcoBoosts. That should be your first upgrade. Intakes, it doesn't matter. Pick whatever intake you want. I mean, I think my factory intake with just an upgraded tube was sufficient up until I got ready to do aftermarket turbos, and then at that point I needed to upgrade it. But other than that, factory one was sufficient. Exhaust, I mean, your downpipes, of course. If you don't do your downpipes, you're going to be restricting yourself. You want to open up that exhaust to keep that back pressure off those turbos. Your factory downpipes are 2.5. Aftermarket downpipes are 3 inch. As far as after the downpipes, do whatever you want. I mean, dump it after the downpipe if you want to. It doesn't matter. But other than that, I mean, that's really about it. I did some stuff that wasn't necessary, but I did it anyway. I mean, if there was a part to be bought for a 2.7, I had it. So not everything I had was necessary, but I did it anyway. If you're going to be out there trying to race it, race it and everything, do your suspension. I mean, I had coilovers on the front, Viking double adjustable shocks in the rear, traction bars, rear sway bar, locker in the back, stuff like that. And it took some playing around with my suspension. I was running on slicks, which you don't have to do. I run on slicks because I like wheel spin. It's harder to break stuff with wheel spin than it is if you dead hook. If you dead hook, I mean, yeah, you're gonna find your weak point pretty quick. I didn't want to do that. I wanted a little bit of wheel spin, so I mean, just do your suspension, test it, figure out what works for you, what works for your truck. And the only other thing I would have done if I would have kept the truck was put a converter in it. I was looking at probably doing a 2800 or a 3000 stall in it, but keep in mind, once you do that on a 10-speed transmission, it's probably not going to be very driver friendly. But I mean, that's part of it. But so anyway, I sold that truck and I got a 2017 F250 6.7 powerstroke. Got it, did the usual, the usual stuff that everybody does to a newer diesel. And then on top of that, did a few extra little things to it. I've got a, this is it right here, actually. Got my little shop light rigged up right there. I don't have my shop built yet, so I have to do all this under a carport. But I've got a no limit fabrication reverse level kit, which actually drops the front a little bit too. So it actually dropped the whole truck 2 inches in the front, 4 inches in the rear. Put some wheels and tires on it. They're just the lightest wheel I could find that actually had a wheel weight rating, which they're like 37 pounds, which for an 8-load wheel is pretty good. They're 20 by 10s, 33-inch tall tires, stuff like that. I put a Titan Turbo Systems 64, 67 millimeter turbo on it. MPD diesel, or Maryland Performance diesel piping kit, and their crankcase ventilation system, stuff like that, and 5-inch exhaust, tuned, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, that's really about it. It's for a diesel, it does good. I can't really speculate on the power it makes. I would imagine it makes somewhere around 600 to 630 horsepower to the tire. Torque, probably somewhere around 1,200 foot-pounds to the tire, maybe a little bit more. Really, frankly, I don't really care. Just because you make more horsepower doesn't mean you're faster. It's all about your setup. But I'll show you. So that right there, that's all the piping kit. That's technically your intake manifold. This piece right here that makes a Y. Then you've got your intercooler pipes right here, right here. Of course, obviously your intake, stuff like that. And then there's the Titan Turbo. Did a H&S fuel filter adapter and stuff like that, just where you don't have to run the plastic fuel filter and all that kind of stuff. And other than that, that's really about it. I mean, it's got, like I said, there's the wheels. It's lowered 2 inches in the front, 4 inches in the rear. That's really about it. I mean, it's a 2017 Platinum F250. But yeah, I mean, that's really about it so far. I plan on in the future doing the upgrading the CP4 and run that as long as I can, and then after I do the CP4, maybe one day do a compound kit on it. I have to get the crank gear welded up at that point, but other than that, that's pretty much about it. I mean, you know, it's a big full weight 3/4 ton truck. I'm not trying to go super fast in it. I mean, that thing does not handle very well, especially whenever you start getting up there. But yeah, I wanted to make a video kind of addressing the 2.7 stuff, the Ecoboost stuff, and then, you know, show y'all the new truck. If y'all have any Ecoboost questions, then feel free to ask them. I can make more videos on Ecoboost stuff. If everybody's interested, I can make more videos on powerstroke stuff. I mean, I'm still somewhat kind of trying to not break the turbo in. The turbo's broken in, but you know, I just did the install last week. Haven't really got to drive my truck much, but I want to kind of take it easy for a little bit. I've got some half throttle pull videos loaded up. I'll get some full throttle pulls maybe this weekend. But I mean, if y'all are interested in powerstroke stuff or have any questions about it, let me know. Ecoboost stuff, whatever. Doesn't make a difference to me. So just let me know what you want, and I'll get some more videos uploaded for them if y'all want them. So just let me know. Thank you.